notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9. Compete with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, when you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, compete with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle and Co.
All right, good morning and welcome in as Lloyd attempts trade as Green's
off.
We got to get it on the soundboard. Like, that's one thing, one design that for football season, I want to be ready to have just anytime something, anytime something happens. Gotta have
and it wasn't a one-off. Like, we caught him again laughing. That's how he laughed.
Yeah, no, I guess that is like his laugh. Every time he laughs,
how
it's
infectious
awesome.
is that? Like, oh, man.
It's as good as it gets. But good morning. Appreciate you guys getting in here this morning, hanging out with us once again from 7 to 9 as we are rolling through the inaugural week here of Tingle & Co., getting ready for Super Regionals this weekend. Some really exciting times on the LSU front and here on the Tingle & Co. front. Shout out to, Front Porch Sports. Put out the best podcast for every
college
D1 school. And it was at Colada Show for LSU. And I will just take the credit here at Tingle & Co. Say it was us. I quote tweeted. I was like, well, that show doesn't really exist anymore, but I'm still going to say thank you.
As Cordell would say, a new era.
A new era.
Tingle & Co.
You heard him. You hear him. Shout out Cordell for the music every single morning. The headlines this morning: LSU versus West Virginia this weekend. Obviously, 1 p.m. on Saturday, 5 p.m. on Sunday. Steve Caprata of WAFB put out the weather report yesterday on Twitter to let everyone know what it's going to look like in the box. 1 p.m. Saturday, hot and humid, 30%. Showers, low mid-90s. Heat index 100 to 104.
Whoa.
Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. It is going to be hot on Saturday. Obviously, hopefully those 30% showers don't mean anything. And then on Sunday, it is 50% showers and thunderstorms. Upper 80s to low 80s. The heat index 98 to 88. Lloyd's pulling it up here to let you look at it yourself. So, I mean, it should be a good day on Saturday. It just might be a little hot. Might get a little sweaty while you're watching the Tigers. So wear some Roback. Use code Tigers, TIGARS. When you order something from Roback to get 20% off.
Or
to stay cool.
Come inside in Golf Suites. You don't have to worry about it.
We got the AAC rocking in there, I promise. You know, I'm going to stay cool. Make sure I'm not sweating it up too much. Or you can go outside and sweat it up by crushing golf balls.
Yeah. Put some booze in you, then sweat it all out.
There you go. That's what Lloyd's going to do, probably.
That's right.
And then yesterday, Kason Evans is a National College Baseball Writers Association Stopper of the Year finalist, and rightfully so. LSU football is hosting the number 2 running back in the country on a visit this weekend. LSU football is also the underdog in 3 2025 regular season games. Lloyd, who those games are?
Clemson.
Yep.
Ole Miss.
Uh-huh.
And inevitably, Bama gets put on this list.
Of
so
course.
Those are the 3 that we have circled.
Yeah, there's the 3. When we've looked at the schedule, we'd be like,
as possible
you
losses.
can find the 3 losses.
I didn't think that LSU would not be favored.
I was surprised by the Ole Miss one. I feel like the roster LSU's put together versus Ole Miss's roster, returning quarterback versus new quarterback, all of the things. I guess, I mean,
it's an away game.
What's the number?
2.5?
Yeah, so I mean, it's LSU's favored by half a point in Oxford, essentially.
Right. But
So-
LSU has lost in Oxford, the past 2?
Have not won since 2019 in Oxford. Same
past
with
6?
Yeah.
So 3 times, yeah.
Same with Alabama. Have not won there since 2019. And then obviously Clemson on the road week 1 have not won a season opener since 2019. So a little bit of history going on in those picks. LSU football commit Tristan Keys inks a large NIL deal with Adidas. And I saw a lot of discourse and discussion around Keys on the social media sphere, talking about that he had removed all of his LSU tags from his social media. And look, this is the era we live in. You've seen plenty of things like that happen, and it come out to be nothing. Where players remove all the LSU stuff off of their Instagram. Like I remember Kayshawn did it before 2022. He took everything LSU off all these things, and it's never really been anything. Same on the front of the Adidas deal, because I saw a lot of people saying, well, he's assigning this Adidas NIL deal. That means he can't play at LSU because they're a Nike school. I don't know the complete ins and outs of how that exactly works, but Haley Van Lith had been signed with Adidas for at least 2 years prior to transferring to LSU and playing in a Nike uniform. So I don't know the full breakdown on that front, but I don't think there's really a problem when it comes to the players signing a deal with Adidas and playing at a Nike school. So we'll see. But I did see on Twitter the other day that Steve Wiltfong still thinks LSU holds the edge in the Tristan Keys recruitment. So it's obviously one to keep an eye on as recruiting season heats up and the discussions heat up around these players. Next up on the headlines is another thing that was popping up on Twitter a whole lot yesterday was the worst sports moment debate. There was a Twitter page that put out a tweet that was essentially asking what is one game that if you were a sports fan, of your team that you could take back. And obviously there were a lot of LSU fans that put out the 2011 season national championship game, so January 9th, 2012, which will forever be etched in our nightmares. And Preston Guy put out a tweet that said, I don't think there's a single team in any major sport that can find a single loss more painful than January 9th, 2012. And it sparked up a little discussion between him and our guy, Christian Cowley, who went and said the NOLA no call is more painful than that LSU national championship loss. And that sparked some discussion on Twitter. And so we will probably dive into that debate later on the show today between LSU losing 21-0 to Alabama in that national title game versus the NOLA no call in 2018. Another headline, AJ Sports Cards. They have now been open for 2 years. It is their anniversary today. 2 years since they've opened up, and we will have a pack opening live on the show today at 8:45 as they will come through, celebrate their 2-year anniversary with us and rip some packs open and show off the cards. Maybe Lloyd will eat a couple. Wish Jonathan was here so we can make him eat them, but it'll be
Christian.
all right. Also, another headline, I saw that Adam Silver, I know we're not too much of an NBA show, but just Adam Silver said that the format of the NBA All-Star Game will be changing a little bit, and that in the 2026 All-Star Game, so next year, there will be a USA versus the world format. What's that?
We'll take on all comers.
There you go.
America, us versus everybody.
Let's do it. He said that he paid a lot of attention to the NHL deal that they did and how awesome that was. It was a huge success, and wants to implement that in the NBA. And I think it'll be cool. You know, it might be a little scary for America when you put the whole the world together on one team, and they're not sprinkled about. Because the Olympics, you've got Luka over in Slovenia, you've got Jokic in Serbia, you've got Giannis in Greece, you've got Wemby in France. It's all spread out. You put all those guys on one team, it's
America's gonna get cooked.
It might be a little scary, but I still think that would be awesome. And then rolling into the 2 claps this morning, Chris Stanfield is a Tony Gwynn Community Service Trophy finalist. Shout out to Stanny for obviously. We've recognized him a bunch on the field. This is a little off the field recognition. He deserves 2 claps. Chris Stanfield, 2 claps. Ready. The Rougarou, back-to-back wins to start their season. They win 8-5 and 7-3. Some recognizable names on the stat sheet for the Rougarous. I think Zeb Riddell is on the team. Blaze Priester is out there.
He's playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure when I read the article on kind of the gamer on the Rougarou game from the other night, Blaze Priester was in the stat sheet. Let me see if I can pull up the gamer now, and I'll read it. Let's see. Game 1 in the books. Here's how it went down. Zeb Riddell's playing. You've got Taylor Walters, former Central High Wildcat on the team. Central, you can't escape him. Jimmy Johnson closed the deal, pitched in 2 innings. Former Central High Wildcat as well. Sorry, I just got to throw that out in there. But, yeah, the Rougarou ride in the bottom of the second when Blaze Priester led off with a single. So he's out there playing, and the Rougarou are 2-0. So they deserve 2 claps. Ready. The Berg Estate Sale. Me and Lloyd are going to take a road trip today as we're going to head over to Sulphur after the show today, see if we can snag some LSU memorabilia and merch. That was one of the biggest things we lost in the transition was we lost all the cool stuff that was behind us. And so I saw a social media video of an estate sale out in Sulphur that had some pretty cool merchandise that me and Lloyd are going to take a trip over to today, see what we can snag. 2 claps. Ready. Paul Skenes. Lloyd's going to pull this video up, and you're going to sit back and watch.
This is filth.
Maybe the nastiest pitch I've ever seen in my life.
He's inventing new pitches, and he has to.
Unbelievable. I mean, they still can't get him a win, but
How
this
does it break 2 different ways?
It literally, it's like it hits a wall right there.
That is crazy.
That is unbelievable.
It's wanted.
How in the world
can curve the bullet?
Are you supposed to hit that baseball?
You don't.
Unbelievable. Paul Skenes.
It's like a mean trick.
2 claps. Ready. That was awesome. Lloyd's going to play this next video as well. This clutch middle infielder, I saw this on TikTok yesterday, was one of the craziest videos I had seen. One of the craziest situations I had seen where the first baseman fields the ground ball. This is the 3rd out of the inning. Fields the ground ball. Before he makes it to first base, he throws the ball to the mound. Before he even tags first base, he throws the ball to the mound. So you would assume the first baseman ran it out and is safe now. I mean, the batter ran it out and is safe now. I say nay. He decides he's going to be upset about the ground out that he hit and stop halfway down the first baseline and complain about it, and grunt and moan. And when he does that, he does not realize that.
Where can I find this? It's not in the document.
I think I texted it to you.
Okay.
He really doesn't realize that the ball, and he was never tagged out at first. And the umpire doesn't call out nothing. Obviously, the play's still alive. The shortstop or the second baseman, I'm not sure, saves the day, runs up behind the baseball, picks it up, tags out at first, knocked it out, makes the play. It was a massive play. Lloyd will get that pulled up in a second. That middle infielder deserves 2 claps. Because if I'm the coach on either side, if I'm the coach of the offensive team with the batter giving up on the ground out halfway down the first baseline, I'm pissed at him because he'd have been safe, kept the inning alive if he just runs it out. if I'm the coach of the defensive team and my first baseman fields a ball and tosses it back to the mound before, like, you would think it's like
bad baseball
muscle
all
memory.
around.
Like, it's as ugly as it gets. And if I'm the coach of the shortstop, like the same coach, I'm thanking him immensely just for the awareness and the ability to just go ahead and clean up that mess. So,
I'll let you know when it gets in.
yep. Carl Dunn says, at Tingle Priesters in the transfer portal, he wasn't on the postseason roster. So, yeah, he's out there playing for the Rougarou. I knew he's in the portal, but, I mean, I would assume you can still be in the portal and in the dugout, right? Or is that not?
I don't know.
I don't know how that works. It's a very weird time in college sports, but I guess not. I guess if you're in the portal, then you're in the portal, go do what you want to do. Sabrion Green, that pitch was nastier than Bonnie Blue. It's the most disgusting pitch I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's not, like I said, he's inventing new pitches.
It 100% is an invented pitch. They called it a sinker, but
just the view of it. Like, you're starting to, with the amount of spin that he can generate,
Yes.
how hard he throws it. And then you hear it feels like every year now it's Paul Skenes is working on a splinker.
Yep.
Oh, he added a splitter. And you're just like, what can't he throw? And he did this at LSU. He didn't really use half of the things that he.
yeah, it was fastball and slider.
Right.
And then now he's got a 7-pitch repertoire he's got.
And he goes 8 innings, which we've seen. But instead of winning, he
loses.
They lose.
Every game.
And the people have talked about, like, oh, he's going to be a big market. Like, who's going to come get him? If they were winning, that's the one thing that's going to make him leave.
Yes.
If they're not winning and they're not competitive, then that's what pisses him off.
He's a winner.
Right.
That's what he does is he wins.
He wanted to go to war.
And they don't win baseball game. And not just him leaving. The Pirates don't want to win. Like, they're not making moves to make this team better for Paul.
But they're drafting correctly. They keep hitting on picks.
Right.
But
Yeah, I mean, they got what's his face? Who's the guy from Mississippi that had committed to LSU? Connor Griffin.
Yeah, he's a stud.
He's a monster. He's the most grown man
They
looking
just keep-
17-year-old I've ever seen in my life.
He's 6'5", 225, and
Like,
plays shortstop.
Freak.
And runs a 4.4.
And they're going to have him for 2 years just like Paul and then trade him off because they
Trade
don't
him
want
in
to
a group
win.
deal. Back to LSU.
That would be the coolest thing ever. Adrian Bailey, the Pirates don't win, though. Yeah, no, they don't. And I can only imagine how fed up Paul Skenes is. Already. Just getting the party started now, what it's going to look like. So, next up on the two claps to that middle infielder ready. As Lloyd's going to pull the video up. The Orlando Magic deserves 2 claps because they did what I think is the simplest thing in sports to do if you're going to rebrand your uniforms is you just go back to the classic. Like, the Magic had some of the best unis in the 90s. Like, think back to the Shaq and Penny jerseys with the pinstripes, the black, the blue, the white. Like, some of the best jerseys in the sport. And then they go through these rebrands and they end up with uniforms that just don't look as good. And you sit back and you reminisce on what was good. They finally – now, the middle one should have just been all black.
Yeah.
If you don't do the blue at the top, you're fine. But good on the Magic for saying, you know what, we screwed up. Let's go back to what worked. Because these are clean. That white and that blue both are excellent.
Yep.
I think they look like the middle one. I feel like they were just trying too much. If you just go all black pinstripes, it looks great. Good on the Magic for getting these uniforms done. And it's time for the Pelicans to rebrand as well with some new uniforms because these ones are getting kind of worn out. But the Magic deserve 2 claps. Ready. Those are outstanding. Outstanding. But, yeah, we appreciate you guys getting in here joining us this morning as we have rolled through the week. Adrian Bailey, Noah, be careful on a road trip with Lloyd. Lloyd will be in the passenger seat, my friend.
Taking a nap.
Lloyd will be asleep in the passenger seat while I drive. I will, no offense to Lloyd, no 3-point turns, that's fire.
Yeah, they're just going back to the 90s.
Which is fine.
That's what I like. People, that's what's in right now.
Yes.
And so just embrace it.
Just embrace it, and good on the Magic for doing so because that looks. I mean, those are as clean as they've like ever been. Like those are as clean a uniform can be, and
The Raptors follow suit.
yes, the Raptors would be outstanding.
I want Reptar back.
Timberwolves go back to the old theme. Like, I'm trying to think who else has some clean. Like
I mean, Philly kind of has already done it.
Yeah, Philly's gone, but Phillies were clean. So yeah, Denver would be nice.
I don't know who this person is, but this looks like a grade A swindler. Like, I wouldn't buy any. If that's the guy at the estate sale, like, I'm walking away. He looks like he's gonna take me for everything I'm worth.
Yeah, I mean, and he's why is it?
I don't know who that's. What I'm saying.
He's signing him.
Yeah.
So he's obviously somebody important. But there it is. That's the headlines and the two claps for this morning. LSU baseball still alive versus West Virginia this weekend. Lloyd, you and Mikey and Jay Mitch talked to the King last night, and Jay Johnson, the leader of men himself, the head man of LSU baseball. Excellent interview, my friend. You and the crew, y'all crushed it. The best interview every week is when Jay Johnson joins Mic'd Up. I'm tuned in every time. Shout out to you guys. Great work. What were your takeaways from y'all's discussion with Coach Jay?
Good mood. I usually like to just try to read his mood and see where he is, kind of like an exhale moment, I guess, for a little bit. But he had no problem reflecting back on the series against Arkansas Little Rock, and he was giving them all the flowers because, like, deservedly so. He's like, kind of what we've been saying was, you don't look at record, you don't look at RPI. Like, you're in one to play one, and they battled their tails off, and they were hot. It's hard to beat a hot team, and it's like it was a big collective sigh, I guess, and it all came down to like the one moment that you saw, and it wasn't when they took the lead. It was more so the Ethan Fry double, where it was like he's like, you could feel it building up, you could see it, and you just need that one moment, and that's when the box, he goes, I've never heard a baseball stadium like that. He goes, the box has been awesome ever since I've been here. Like, everybody knows the pageantry around college baseball in Baton Rouge. He's like, that was the loudest I've ever heard a baseball stadium in my life, and it wasn't for one inning, it was for 9 innings. Well, I guess I'll say 5, because after that, felt like the entire stadium kind of just, he was like, there's moments in the game where they don't sit down or they feel like they need to be supportive instead of like waiting for something to happen. They'll make something happen. He's like, they're as educated when it comes to like moments of when to cheer, when to kind of give the boys a little balance, and that was his, like, it was unbelievable. So happy to be back in the box for Super Regional. And he also talked about like the way that the team is. Like, I guess I don't know if he was lying or if I was wrong. But
no, because me and you were on the same.
And we said it yesterday.
Said it on the watch party as well. Like, when it panned through on the TV, we were like, that dugout does not look good. That
dugout looks dead.
It looks bad.
And he was contended the opposite. He was like, I don't know what it looked like. I don't know what like they showed, but he was like, the boys were talking to each other, hyping each other up, saying like one more. Like, we were in it. And to be 5-1 and still kind of thinking at some point we're gonna break through.
Right.
Like, that was great. So shout out Jay. Always a great interview. I'm glad he gives us a little bit of his personality as opposed to the buttoned-up version with the media that you kind of see.
Work.
Right. This is more of an open-ended conversation where we talked about the lineup changes because I was giving him credit because they got mentioned in passing about moving Fry up. And he's like, I'm glad it worked out the way that it did. I was like, well, you only have one person to thank for that. It's you. And he is like, yep, sometimes in these moments when I'm making the lineup card, I go, what would Lloyd do? I just throw something against the wall and see if it sticks. That's how it works. It's like, I'm pretty sure that's not what you do. I'm pretty sure you're scouring over information that I don't have.
I'm pretty sure you're
not just like, maybe Fry second.
Because Lloyd would make it do that.
This is where he'd put him.
Yeah, this is what Lloyd would do.
But
no, that's awesome.
He's the best, man.
No.
Glad to see. And that's where, like, it all, in totality, because Mikey said it before the game where he's like, this would be the worst loss in LSU postseason history. And selfishly, I was like, I don't want that stain.
No, not at all.
Jay's resume is too good, and the people that already want him fired and don't contend that he's one of the best coaches in America, if not the best, that's a sticking point that they could point back to for eternity.
Yes.
They would always go back to, you lost to Arkansas Little Rock at home.
2011 Mavs for LeBron.
When you had,
it's the blemish.
It's exactly what it would have been.
You cannot.
You had Cade Anderson and Anthony Irons and Kason Evans and all, the lineup.
Bear Jones.
You couldn't score.
Couldn't beat Little Rock.
And so for that, LSU to get out of that pickle,
yes,
and then head to West Virginia, who he's noted is, like I said, I'm not looking at numbers, but they have a sterling record.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, it's in the era of like the transfer portal and all of these things, and he's like, they have a loaded roster of guys that have played a ton of
experience,
baseball. And it comes through when you watch them play. They're never out to fight. They always capitalize on mistakes. Mm-hmm. They keep putting pressure on you.
Scrappy,
and that's for LSU's sake. they don't make a ton of mistakes defensively.
Right.
Like that's why the Stanfield, Dickinson, like I don't want to call them errors, but those plays like stick out so much. You hadn't seen it all year.
Well, and it was the moment in which they were happening where it was like
everything's falling apart.
This kind of this snowball of Zach Cowan throwing, walking batters, which is like that's not who Zach Cowan has been all year. Like that's why, because this is something that I've really sat and I guess marinated in a lot since the game is like the Zach Cowan situation of like what is it going to look like moving forward? Like what's the role? All of those things, and I also heard y'all talking about it last night. Jay Mitch doesn't want to group in this past game with the other bad outings before, and that was a really good point. And I would agree because it was different than what it looked like in those other games. Against A&M and against South Carolina, it felt like maybe he had been figured out a little bit, like they were strategizing against him. He was still throwing stuff over the plate, but they were getting hits off of him that they hadn't been earlier in the year. The other night, it was walks. It was lack of control. And to me, that shouldn't be grouped in with the A&M game and the South Carolina game, or the two A&M games and the South Carolina game where he was not on like he had been earlier in the year. You can't group in the Little Rock game with that because it was a completely different problem. They hadn't figured Cowan out. He just lost control of his pitches. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with a new role. He had obviously started before at Wofford, but this is a whole season at LSU where he's got 21 appearances, and they've all been in, or I guess 20 of his 21 appearances had been in relief, only one where he was starting, and he just was kind of out of it at the start of that game in the second inning. And then you compound that with the Dickinson error and then the Stanfield to Dickinson play in center that was really just ugly. It wasn't an error. It wasn't a bad play. Like it was just a little blooper that neither of them could get to. Stanfield got a good jump on it, couldn't make that play. And I think that those problems, those mistakes, are really the only ones you've had all year. Like LSU's played such a clean defense, and the biggest concern that I have going into this weekend is really just walks. Like that's how West Virginia got the job done last week, or this past weekend, was they got free bases, they got on base. When the bases were loaded, they would put together good at-bats and rip a single. They'd hit a double off the wall. They would score runs in bunches because they just never said die, and they got on base. So LSU's got to make sure they clean up mistakes. Don't let mistakes happen. You're in a good spot against West Virginia.
Well, not only that, like the Cowan conversation is going to be interesting because I don't know. Throughout the year, you had set it up to go, like what you had seen was Anderson, Cowan,
Yep.
Hyanson, Evans.
Yep.
And that got you through the majority of the regular season, and you're like
The SEC play.
It was so Cowan was so good and so dominant. He was obviously nominated for all the like regular season awards, all the things, and then you see it kind of start to falter a little bit, where it's like, whoa, that was so out of character. And I was of the contention that you keep putting him in those big spots. At some point, the dam's gonna break. Like you're not gonna save every game. Like so, it's a one-off. At some point, that was going to happen. Now it's continuing to be like this is more. I don't know if this is more of who he is, or if he's been figured out. Lost confidence, whatever, but this is why you have Yetsky, because that's something that they'll work on throughout the week to be able to figure out, like, what do we need to add, what do we need to do to be able to find a way that you can be dominant again, because without him, the entire LSU rotation starts to become a little bit more of a mystery. But with that said, like, there's still a world in which you have Myers that was dominant. You didn't even get to see Chase Shores.
Right.
Like, you needed a Herculean effort from Case and Evans, and Jay was quick to point that out of the best pitching performance he's seen from a freshman. He was like, between him and Fry, he's like, Fry was one of the best performances I've seen since I've coached college. And he was like, it reminded me of Dylan Cruz in the Super Regionals. Or no,
Game 3 against Florida.
Yeah, Game 3 against Florida was like every time he came up, he did something that exactly what you needed to have happen, Dylan Cruz like provided. And then with Case and Evans, it was he was saying what we were saying. He was like, in my mind, if everything had gone right, it was Cowan again before, Evans can give me 4.
Yep.
Ianson come in and close the deal. And he is like, we kind of had to pivot from that plan, and Case and Evans comes out and is absolutely rock solid. And so not all plans go exactly the way that you think they are. You needed somebody to step up. Case and Evans does. Ethan Fry does. But moving forward, I'm interested to see where you put Cowan because I don't know.
I was trying to map it out in my head, and like the way I did it in my brain is obviously Case and Evans is a guy who they're going to be, in my opinion, would be written in pencil for Sunday, but I don't know if it would be a Sunday start. My thought process would be an opener, not Sunday, a game 3. He'd be penciled in, but can be erased if you can go win game number 2. Like if it's 4-3 in the 8th and you take Ianson out in game number 2, you put Evans in, close that game out, win it in 2 games, you're good to go. My thought process was, and Lloyd, you can throw out your ideas or tell me what you think about mine, would be an Anderson to Shores game 1, hoping that Shores kind of gets back right out of the bullpen and kind of plays, the way he had been prior to this past weekend. And then you have an Ianson. If you win that one, it would be Ianson Evans in my mind for game 2, close it out, win the whole thing, depending on the score. Or an Ianson to Cowan type. And then on a Sunday, you would open with Newt, go to Evans out of the pen. Maybe you get 2 innings out of Newt that are clean, and then Evans can, take you deeper into the game. That was my, I'm obviously not the head baseball coach here at LSU, but that was kind of how I had put it together in my head. And Cowan, to me, is kind of the wrench in that because you're hoping he can get back to who he was and how he had played.
And Jay has been faced with this. He was almost faced with it in the first loss to Arkansas Little Rock, where he was like, it kind of made the decision for me. That big inning in the 8th, where they kind of separated themselves.
Meyer started walking them.
Right, and he goes, it made my decision a hell of a lot easier instead because it would have been Case and Evans to come in. If it's a 2-run game, it's a 1-run game. I have to make that call of, do I use him right here and see if we can come back, or do I save him? And he was like, I don't want to say thank God, but he was like, that kind of made my decision a lot easier,
right.
Considering what I had to do. So baseball kind of figures it out for you at some points. But I would say, going into the Super Regional, if you have an opportunity to win game 1, and it's Anderson, and you're up, give it to Case and Evans.
Really?
Like I would
go win game 1.
Go win game 1.
No, I'm with you.
And then you have Then you have Ianson, Shores. You have the rest of your guys to figure out a game 2 and hopefully win it. But if you get to a game 3 and Evans has only thrown 40 pitches, he's coming back in game 3. So you could use him again. He's not burned.
Yeah, I like that.
But I would use him in game 1 if you're close to the lead, have a lead, put in your guy that has consistently been the stopper, and he can go extended innings. But I think Anderson is probably going to go as far as he wants.
Yes.
Like, you're gonna have to pry the ball out of his cold dead hands before he's like, all right, I'm good coming out in the 5th. Like, he's gonna compete his ass off, and it's gonna be a hard decision to take him out, even if it becomes 2nd and 3rd in the 5th with 1 out, and you're looking around like, do I go? Like, I think that would be quite the conversation to hear on the mound if that was the decision. Because if this is Kate Anderson's last go with LSU because he continues to skyrocket up draft boards, it was, he might be a first rounder.
Top 3
pick.
He
might be a top 15 pick, top 10 pick. Now he's a top 3 pick, could be the first pick overall. And if this is his last go in the box, I think you almost kind of let him decide.
Yeah.
Like, if you die, you die. I'm not doing it to you. You gotta tell me.
Yeah.
And I think he's earned that.
No, I agree. Paul's writing in the chat, no point in predicting a bullpen rotation. Jay is going to be looking at matchups and exploiting West Virginia's weaknesses. Besides, y'all are forgetting about guys like Cooper Williams. Yeah, look, I mean, I wouldn't say there's no point in predicting. This is just fodder. This is just us talking back and forth, looking into the weekend.
To map out what the weekend looks like. Like, when's the best opportunity to use your guys that you can use maybe more than once?
Right, and I agree. Jay is going to be looking at Jay is moving chess pieces around while we're just in here discussing, talking back and forth. Jay is handling it in a completely different manner. He's looking more in depth to West Virginia's lineup and how they match up against them than we are just kind of mapping out potential rotations of what it could look like. But yeah, no, Cooper Williams was the silver lining from what night was that? Sunday night, where he goes, 5 2/3, looked really good. His first time really an extended outing because he had just been kind of a matchup pitcher for a period before that for a majority of the season. And he goes out there and extends. And that's another piece of if you get to a game 3 or even in a game 2 or something like he's going, Cooper Williams is the guy that's going to get the ball at some point if you need him to. The biggest thing, the hope is you're in the position with Anderson game 1 and Ianson game 2 that it's hard to not be confident when those are the two guys on the mound. I did my weekly phone interview with Sean Fox in North Louisiana, and that was his question. He asked me about the level of concern going into this weekend after what we saw this past weekend. And I was like, look, my level of concern is not all that high on LSU's front. Now, look, they're playing postseason baseball. West Virginia is a good baseball team. I wasn't really talking about that per se. It was more of if you're telling me I need a team to go out and win 2 games in a weekend, I don't know how many teams I would say before I said LSU, if any. Because, and the only reason that I'm saying that is because of the 2 guys that you're going to put on the mound to start game 1 and game 2. You know? I mean, if you've got
that's where
Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson as your 2 starters for game 1 and game 2, it's hard to not feel good about that.
Yeah, that's where the conversation of is it easier to win a regional or a super regional, and you would think level of competition for a regional is not going to be the same as somebody they just got out of a bracket that won it, that either took somebody else's regional or won their regional. And for West Virginia, it's a team that you would have seen last year in a super regional. So this is back-to-back supers for West Virginia.
Yep.
But when it becomes a 3-game series and you have Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson to go 1 and 2, yeah, if you only have to win 2, you got that is your best bet.
Yes. I mean,
it would be foolish to not think that LSU would be a prohibitive favorite because of those 2 guys.
Yeah, that's to me that's the sole reason why it's looked at like that is because they have 2 guys, 2 aces that can both be considered
aces,
the best pitcher in the country.
And I would imagine it'll be Cade Anderson to start game 1,
right?
Because of the Ianson only threw 20 pitches, but still give him an extra day.
Yeah, get him to 6 days rest.
Yeah, so that's where that kind of decision, it hasn't been fully made, but I'd imagine that is put 1 in the pros column for Cade Anderson.
Right.
And he's Cade Anderson.
And he's Cade Anderson. And I would assume that West Virginia is going to throw their guy Kern, who's a left-handed pitcher, went 7 1/3 in game 1 against Kentucky last weekend. 5 hits, 3 runs, only 1 of them was earned, 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. He's got a 3.13 ERA, and he's got 100 strikeouts and 95 innings pitched. He's their guy that goes extended into games. And I would assume that's where they're going to throw game 1 because, what's been the strategy against LSU's lineup all year? And it's been left-handed pitching. Texas A&M, you saw 3 left-handed starters. You've seen consistent time after time players, teams throwing left-handed pitching against LSU to give them some sort of edge. I would assume they're going to go with Kern. He's one of their 2 best pitchers. He goes deeper into games, and he's a lefty. He also came in and closed out game 3 on 1 day's rest with an inning, 1 hit, 1 strikeout to win that. So that, to me, is who West Virginia is going to throw game 1. And so if that's what I'm just going to, in my mind, when I watched and what I've thought about, is that's going to be somewhat of a pitcher's battle because it's left-handed pitching, which obviously LSU has not excelled against this season. And it's a really good left-handed pitcher, a guy with 100 strikeouts on the year, and he can extend into games. Now, if you can get his pitch count up, obviously it puts you in a better position because that's just baseball. But I think it's going to be quite the battle on Saturday between Kern and Anderson, if that's who it is, because I think it'll be 2 really good pitchers on the mound facing against one another. Here's Griffin Kern for West Virginia.
This is a game early in the year against Utah where he struck out 14.
Yeah, no, he's got
6-3 win.
He's good, and I watched the game he pitched against Kentucky, and I was impressed. And I think that's who they're going to go with game 1. And I think if it's Anderson versus Kern, it's going to be another one of those discussions we've had of pitcher's duel, like another one of those low-scoring games. That's what it was, game 1 between West Virginia and Kentucky last weekend in the regional. That was a 3-4 ball game. Now, after that, these games were high scoring. It was 9-6 they win versus Clemson, 13-12 they win versus Kentucky the second time, but it was only a 4-3 win versus Kentucky in game one. And Kern's the real deal. And so that's where the conversation is going to be with the LSU offense is what can they do against a really good left-handed pitcher in game number one, because a lot of the discussion we've had about pitching rotation and all those things, you gotta win game one to really feel comfortable about what you're going to have going into the rest of the weekend.
Classic example of West Virginia taking advantage of mistakes.
They take advantage of mistakes.
They put pressure on you. They're doing the double steal here to try to, like you saw LSU pull this out. He tries his back pick.
Airmail,
run scores, and you get a guy on third.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's West Virginia baseball. Like, they are pesky, man. If you make one error, somehow they're going to score a run out of it. Like, if Dickinson has one of those where he flips it to Milam, another one of those plays, they're going to make you pay. You start walking batters, they're going to make you pay. I mean, what Mikey said, they had multiple guys with 15-plus doubles yesterday when he was talking about them. Like, they only have one double-digit
homer guy,
but they've got like 4 guys that have hit 15 or so doubles on the season. So, I mean, they are a good baseball team. They are a scrappy baseball team, and it's going to be really similar to Little Rock in a sense. I think it's just the talent level is going to be raised. So Paul Zarang asks in the chat, Lloyd, lefty in game one, what's your batting order?
I'm running back with I would not be shocked if he changed it. But what you saw from that offensive lineup that you rolled out there and the final game on Monday seemed to be like it worked. With that said, you've seen it all year. I mean, you put Pearson for Brown against the lefty. And that does have the conversation of, because I've seen chitter of Braswell or Reeves. I believe a lefty forces you to play Braswell. Defense is better. Maybe he'll be able to see it a little bit in the super regional where he's been big in big moments, but it was a quick trigger.
Oh yeah,
to put Tanner
Leash was
Reeves
short.
in. Yes, and so I'd imagine it'll be pretty much what you saw. Aside from, I mean, you just have to do Pearson for Brown because the numbers say so. And this is why Pearson's on the team. You have a guy that has played in big-time games, big spots, plays more than formidable defense, and
I mean, he's made massive defensive plays.
And he hits lefties better than you'll see it in the 5th or 6th if they go to a righty. Brown comes in.
Yep, Matthew Gunkel. The minute they bring in a righty, Brown pinch hit bomb, calling it now.
Yeah. Oh, Paul. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I can't wait for that also.
Look, it's going I would put a lot of money that it's going to be Kern for West Virginia on Saturday at 1 p.m. And if so, that's a lefty that LSU's going to have to offensively step up and battle against. The biggest thing is what I've seen in these games that I watched last weekend from West Virginia is if you get their starter out of the game and you get to their bullpen, it's just not. It's similar to LSU. Like, you get the pitch count up on the starter, get him out of the game. It's not. They're not as dominant on the mound. If you can get Kern, don't let him go 7 1/3, and only allow 3 runs up to that point. You're in a pretty good spot, and that's just baseball. But I mean, that's what when you're watching this West Virginia team, get that starter up out of the game, get Kern out of the game, get them to go to a righty. Most of their guys, Meyer and Estridge and Bassinger, their 3, I think, the most used bullpen arms are all righties. So if you want to get Jake Brown into that game, you want to get some momentum for your lineup in that game, get Kern up out of there, get to one of those righties, start crushing the baseball, especially if you've got your guy and Cade Anderson on the mound. Give him some run support, make him feel invincible because he essentially would feel so. If you give Cade Anderson a 5-run lead, you're feeling pretty good. So,
yeah.
I mean,
you give him any run support, you feel good,
right? So, I mean that's just a little bit of fodder for this weekend. Obviously, Jay Johnson's looking at it through a much different lens than we are. He's breaking it down. He's looking at their lineup. What I know about West Virginia is they are, like we've said, an experienced, pesky, scrappy, mature baseball team that if you make mistakes against, because that's what happened last weekend. Game 2, like my notes for Game 2, messy, capitalized on mistakes. Game 3, mistakes, scrappy. Like, There were a lot of walks. There were a lot of hit batters. There were fielding errors. All of those things. West Virginia got guys on the base path, and when that happens, they start to foul balls off until they find their pitch that they'll crush off the wall for a double and score 3. And all of a sudden, 12 of their 13 runs were scored in 2 innings against Kentucky. They scored 6 in the 4th and 6 in the 8th. It's a good baseball team, but I think from a matchup standpoint, there is confidence in the fact that the way West Virginia thrives is off mistakes, and LSU is a pretty clean team defensively. And so there can be confidence there in addition to what really should have you confident is the fact that you have 2 of the best pitchers in the country starting on the bump for Game 1 and Game 2 in a weekend where you only need to win 2 out of 3. So we'll obviously get into the weekend more tomorrow as we preview it. We should have John Eads in studio tomorrow, and he's usually got his notepad filled out with all the numbers, all the stats, and everything, where he goes pretty in depth to give us a really good preview for what it's going to look like this weekend. As on Saturday and Sunday, 1 p.m. and 5 p.m., LSU versus West Virginia. Do not forget, we will be live from Golf Suites watching the baseball games this weekend as LSU is in the Super Regionals. You pull up to Golf Suites during our watch party and you mention Tingle & Co. that you're here for the watch party, you get a free hour of golf on 2 beautiful days. And you can come into the bar, hang out, watch baseball with us. Maybe we'll let you chat in the microphone a little bit. And if LSU hits a homer, what happens, Lloyd?
Free shots.
Free shots. You can also get buy one, get one free draft beer.
Free fries.
And do what?
Free fries.
And fries. If Fry hits a home run, we got to get back to getting the fries moving and shaking in there. So come join us at Golf Suites this weekend as LSU takes on West Virginia in the Super Regionals. On to LSU football. You see that they, like we talked about in the headlines, LSU is the underdog in 3 of their regular season games. And that was, like we said, Clemson, Ole Miss, and Alabama. We've looked at the schedule. Those have kind of stood out. And that seems like a bit of a history play as LSU hasn't won in Tuscaloosa, in Oxford, or an opening game since the greatest season of all time in 2019. So obviously there is reason to have doubt in all of those matchups. And it will be interesting to see how much movement that has, like how much movement that Game 1 line will have. What was the spread for Clemson and LSU? Was it Clemson minus 3.5?
Clemson, I believe it is now just 3. But I would check
Clemson
again.
Minus 3, which is essentially just home field advantage.
Yeah, it depends on where you're looking, but they do have sub spreads listed. For LSU, it's now a 2.5-point underdog at Clemson, and this is courtesy of Bet Online. So depending on where you're shopping, if you are a gambling man, if you do, this is a smart time to shop. Like, go take don't take it at 3 if you can get it at 2.5 or buy it down, but because that's a pivotal, half a point swing that can be a win or a loss by a field goal. So,
yeah, no, and so
but if it does come down to that, like LSU is. It's going to be a close game. I don't even know if just take the money line.
Yeah, no,
I don't think there's any solace in but I got LSU at plus 2.5. Like, if you say that to anybody around you, be like, dude, not right now.
Stop.
I covered.
And I think a lot of I don't know how much that line is going to move ahead of the game because I think right now it's just strictly home field advantage. And I think it'll probably stay that way. But Whit Weeks spoke. Was it yesterday, talking LSU football, as he obviously observed the practices over the spring from the sidelines. But he said, in a quote, "I think our defense is going to be special this year. The dudes that we brought out of the transfer portal, they're all dogs. Being able to step back and watch from the sidelines this spring, I think that our defense this spring was better than it was last season, and you're missing me and Perk out there, and that's a promising sight to see." Look, I think that's been the main discussion about LSU football from spring practice is you've seen the last couple of springs and falls where the offense just kind of dominates. Like, I remember the 2023 offseason, the offense was the clear-cut winner of that entire offseason, where it was like this Jaden Daniels to Malik and BT and all of these things. It's all kind of in line. They look really good. The defense, is kind of up in the air. And then last season, you did see things move in the right direction, but you still knew the defense isn't quite there yet. This spring that just passed, the excitement about LSU football is because you saw a defense that looked really good, that were in the right spots, that were making plays, that dominate. Like spring game, those edge rushers dominated that game. And the defense looked like it was ahead of the offense for the first time since Brian Kelly's been here in an offseason. And that's where the confidence going into this season comes from. What Weeks says about his health, we're getting there. I'd say I'm about 95% right now. I'm cleared for all football activity. I've been doing everything. I've just got to get that last step back. And obviously, for the LSU defense to be performing the way it did during spring practice without the two headliners. I mean, when you talk about the LSU defense, who are the two guys that are going to have a star next to their name on the scorebook?
Be Weeks and Perk.
It's going to be Weeks and Perk. I mean, those are the two stars of the defense. Pun intended, because Perk is actually the star. And right now, the defense is at the level it is, ahead of the offense during spring. And if you want to be confident about the offense, go watch the Garrett Nussmeier clip we played yesterday morning and put out on social media yesterday. That'll give you all the confidence in the world because they're bonding.
Yeah, the boys are in lockstep with each other. Like, you've seen, and another thing that Witt said in this, in this interview was he's been to practice, he's starting to get his feet, and then they have a player organized practice, which gives me thought of 2019 where they were doing this all on their own a little bit. Like you can't have coaches on the field, a player-led practice. That only means excellent things because 2020 didn't do it, 2021 didn't do it, 2022 didn't do it.
Yep.
And so once you kind of get that camaraderie and get like, hey, I believe we're going to do something special, that's when people want to show up. They want to go practice. They want to do, or you have leaders on the team to say, you don't have a choice. Like, you're either with us or you're not. And it takes either that or just the collective buy-in. And I do believe that Weeks is one of those guys that puts together a practice. Nussmeier puts together a practice, and you're not disappointing yourself, you're disappointing me. Like, come on.
Yeah. No,
and once you have that, it's hard to walk away from it.
It is. The quote from Weeks, I'm more excited for this football season than I've ever been. Me personally, coming off injury, just got cleared last week. My first workout with the team was this past Monday. We've got our first team run today and a little player ran practice this afternoon, so I'm looking forward to that. Boom. Like that, I mean, you can't not get some. Like, I'm not saying listen to that quote and put, bet on LSU to win the national championship. Like, I'm not saying they're the favorites just because they're having player ran practices. But you cannot not get excited about what the season may have in store when you hear something like that from one of the leaders of this team, the leaders of this program. The defense should be taking – they took a step forward from 23 to last season under Blake Baker. It should take a leap forward from last year to this year, and they should be in the top 20 in the country of a defense that you just have not seen at all. And that's why. I mean, what were the spreads on all of those games? You said Clemson was obviously 3, Ole Miss was 2.5. Alabama's, I'm assuming, was relatively low as well, just home field advantage because of LSU's roster and the job that they've done.
Yeah, 2.5-point underdog at Ole Miss, 6.5-point underdog at Alabama. And Vegas obviously looks at trends. They know that what we rattled off earlier was they haven't won at Ole Miss since 2019. They haven't won at Alabama since, Alabama's to be away because you got absolutely
throttled
donkey-dicked at home.
Yeah, you sure did.
So,
I mean, you haven't won there since 2019, and before that it was 2011. So,
yeah, both in 2019 you haven't won there.
Yep.
So I could see
and
why.
A season opener. Like, all of these have the history tied to them of you haven't won a season opener,
right?
You haven't won in Oxford, you haven't won in Tuscaloosa, all since you had the greatest roster ever assembled in college football.
I still think that you will see that if any line is going to change,
it's that 6.5.
It's that 6.5 because you'll find out more about Alabama. You'll find out a ton about LSU, and if LSU has taken care of business going into that month, going into that game against Alabama, I think you'll probably see a swing of it might just be even money or like -2.
Yeah.
Because you'll know a lot by then in November.
Oh my gosh. You'll know. I mean, just looking at LSU's schedule, you'll find out a lot in the first 3 weeks. At Clemson and Florida at home, week 1 and week 3. Then you have Ole Miss in week 5. And you've got South Carolina after a bye week right after that. I mean, you're going to learn a lot about LSU in the first the first 6 games of the season.
Easily the first 3 weeks.
Easily the first 3 weeks. Pun intended, as LSU has 3 weeks brothers on the team.
Nice.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I mean I brought it up a little bit yesterday. We didn't touch on it too much. This game between LSU and Clemson is going to explode during July and during the month of August, getting ready for it. Like it's talked about now, obviously, in the offseason fodder is one of the biggest games. The expectations for that game and what it's going to do is going to explode as it gets closer, because both teams are going to be top 10 in the preseason rankings. Both teams have maybe their best roster of the last couple of seasons. Like, it is going to be a massive game, and if Brian Kelly checks that box and wins a season opener finally against probably the toughest opponent he's had in any of these season openers at LSU, that is a catapult for what the PR around your team is going to look like for the rest of the season. Like, think about what we've seen happen when you lose, like the USC loss last year, from a talking head standpoint, the damage it caused for LSU and the positivity it brought for USC. For LSU and Clemson, it's going to be double that, just for LSU. I think if Clemson drops that game to LSU, they're going to be like, we did the same thing last year against Georgia, made the playoff, we'll be okay. LSU is like, it is a juicer
it's
for LSU on either end.
It's battling history.
Like, if LSU loses, it's a absolute freak out when it really shouldn't be, because your season's not over, but rightfully so, it will be, because it'll be, 5 straight years of season opening losses, 4 under Kelly, or I don't even know how many. It's getting too many at this point. And if you win that game, it'll be like, finally, over the hurdle, made it happen. LSU beats the tough, and so it's going to be a massive, massive game as time ticks closer to LSU football season. I can't wait. And that's what the good thing about LSU baseball going deeper in the postseason is. The longer you get to enjoy LSU baseball, the closer you get to LSU football. And obviously, you want to admire what happened at Alec Box last weekend with the crowd and what it looked like on Monday night. But in the back of my mind, when I heard that roar with the Fry double or the Case and Evans strikeout in the 7th, I'm just thinking about that thing 10 times louder in Tiger Stadium on a Saturday night against Florida or against South Carolina or in the fake Death Valley on August 30th, what it's going to sound like. Football's almost here, fellas.
Yeah, it's funny enough, like that. We had a question for Ask Mikey and Mitch, and it was, what makes baseball like what it is, kind of like how you romanticize about baseball, like what's the best thing about it. And that's what Jay Bitch said. He's like, he's obviously been in both, right? Mm-hmm. He's been in Alec Box. He's been in Death Valley. And he's like, there's just nothing like playoff baseball. Like when you get into those moments that, like the Fry double, the Case and Evans, like for football, he's like, it's loud on first and second down. It just gets louder on third down.
Right.
For baseball, it's nothing, and then it's something. And he goes, you just can't fake that feeling of when you're out there and you're the guy that does from silence to, oh, I think we're going to win in one swing. He's like, he was trying to say it from the player's perspective, of course, because he goes, a lot of people think that we, like as players, like we don't remember any of this. Like it's not special to us. Like we're just there to play. Like we're just playing a game.
Nah.
We've been through a lot of this. Like it's like, no. You walk out in the outfield, you're like, holy shit, this is awesome. And then you go, like 10 years later, you're still thinking about it, like, dude, what unbelievable. And it's like it's baseball that can do that to you. But obviously, Death Valley's a little something different too, because there's no place that really brings the juice like that when it is a third down, or same thing when people kind of realize what's going on. It's like, you need to get a stop here, and it starts on first and second down. Like it's those environments that LSU can create that I mean, this is why you do it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I was making that social media video of the Fry double off the wall yesterday, and obviously I watched the Fry double again as I was making it, and I just had my earbuds in, and I heard the roar when you heard the ting off the bat when he peppered that baseball to the wall, maybe 207 miles per hour.
117 off the bat.
And I heard that roar from the fan base, and I was like, it does not get any better than that. And so then, of course, after I heard that, I stopped my editing process and went back to Twitter to listen to the Casey Evans strikeout where he gets all juiced up and fired up, and the crowd just explodes when that guy swings the bat and whiffs. And it just like, man, it's special in Baton Rouge. And like you know it. We obviously know it because, I mean, we've been here forever. I mean, this is where we lived our life. We're LSU fans. We know that it's different. But it's always nice when you get that reminder of, man, it does not get any better than this anywhere else. For football and for baseball. You have like Jacques called Alec Box Stadium the cathedral of college baseball. You've got the cathedral of college baseball and the cathedral of college football. It doesn't get any better than this. And I'm expecting this weekend, Alec Box Stadium, regardless of how hot it is on Saturday and what it looks like on Sunday, it is going to be rocking. Like, and I'm fired up to be at Golf Suites watching it, but I know Alec Box is going to be on full tilt for LSU versus West Virginia in the Super Regionals, a trip to Omaha on the line for the Tigers and the Mountaineers. It's going to be exciting. Absolutely exciting, and I'm fired up. And if you're going to Alec Box, or if you're pulling up to Golf Suites, do it in style. Go to rowback.com, use code TIGERS, TIGERS, to get 20% off of your order. And look good, man. I mean, I was rocking Rowback both games at both times at Golf Suites on Sunday and Monday. I'm going to do it again on Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to have those Rowback polos on and try to look as good as possible, and Rowback helps me do that. So make sure you hit rowback.com, use that code as well, because if LSU goes on this run and you're going to be in the box this weekend and then potentially Omaha next week, you want to look as good as possible. And I guarantee you're going to see Rowback in that stadium. You're going to be like, man, I wish I had that shirt on right now.
I wish I was prepared.
I wish I was prepared. And you could be if you go to rowback.com and use code TIGERS.
Order them now.
Get 20% off. Order it now. We have rolled into hour number 2 this morning. We will take a quick break, reset. We'll be right back with more of Tingle & Co. after this. And we'll talk more LSU baseball and football and everything else right after this.
Let's go!
Wait a minute!
Uh-oh.
Hi! Damn it!
It's okay, buddy.
Jesus Christ!
Izzo!
Baseball is winner-take-all championship game in the NCAA Baton Rouge Regional. After the track, and he's a drive. Puts it in the left field landing. The Tigers are on the board. Home run number 13. 1-0 LSU. Swing to the alley, right center field. It's gonna get down. Center field again off the bat of Fry. But in to score is Fry, and the Tigers back on top, 6-5. Hey, this one high, this one deep, this one gone. Strike three. Reese has to wait on it. Long throw to first. Jones has it in time for out number 3. Nobody on. 10-6 LSU lead. Bottom of the ninth. 2 outs. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Tigers win. Tigers win. Enough. 1-2.
Good question, Tom. No, the show's not over. You made it just in time for hour number 2. It's okay that you're late. We still love you. We appreciate it. Tom Granning, yes. He said, I'm late. Is the show over?
No.
No, sirree.
We gave you a little baseball preview, a little hype package, live video for the boys.
That video is excellent. And if you didn't see the video played before that, that was the one we were talking about during the 2 claps where the first baseman just makes an all-time blunder and the shortstop saves his life. I mean, look at this. All right, clean field. Yep. Inning over.
Yeah, but this
He's
is
pissed off.
unbelievably early.
Like, and he's looking down at his foot.
You know you did. That's
And this guy and the
knows.
worst part, his coach didn't notice it either.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
yeah, that's very casual.
Legend.
Let me make sure. Now we talk. And he got him.
I mean, hallelujah for that man. Could you imagine?
No, it won't ever. That will never happen.
Never. But for this, just for a
The crowd
hypothetical-
wouldn't let you do that.
No,
It would
absolutely
be-
not.
It probably would. It could be to your detriment.
Yes.
But
I
it'd
know,
be like,
that's
why are
true.
they freaking out? It's like, oh, maybe I'll start running. But no, I don't think that would happen at Alec Box. And Bear wouldn't do that.
No, not at
But
all.
if he did, Milam would do the exact same thing.
And Jay Johnson would have a heart
Oh, my
attack in the
God.
dugout. That's what I was getting to. Like, talk about Jay Johnson's blood pressure and heart rate. Something like that happens.
No, he could. That doesn't happen on a Jay Johnson coach team.
Lord have mercy. Yeah, no, exactly.
I mean, you saw it happen whenever they had the Brady Neal, whatever that was, the balk where he stepped in front of the plate, and it was like, he blew a gasket. He got thrown out. Then he got thrown out earlier this year, where he's like, "You flinched." He's like, "Oh,
That
you're gonna
was-
throw me for that?"
Oh, that's such a good memory. Thank you for bringing that back. That was the biggest, like, Big Brother move ever. Like, he played the ump. And so the ump was like, only thing I can do now.
Is the last bit of
Just
power
throw
I
you
have
out.
is like, I'm getting bullied.
It's like if little brother, it's like if me and Max are getting into it, whatever, and Max plays me. Like, he gets a diss in. and like it hits, and so like I push him.
Right.
Like when we were younger,
Lowest
like, I just
common
push him.
denominator.
You know, like
I'm just gonna beat you up.
what I can
now.
do is I can just punch you in the face, and like, there's nothing you can do about it.
I'm not gonna lose.
Or
this.
the flip side of like I get him, and he goes, you know what? I'm gonna tell mom.
I'm telling mom. And this man just took the game into his own hands and said,
you're
you
gone.
gotta go.
Got to get out of
Oh,
here.
what did I do? He's like, you're embarrassing me.
You just played me in front of
You flinched.
13,000 people.
I mean, that's worse than being like actually called a name. Like
You flinched.
Yeah, you call me whatever you want. Like that
Sissy.
doesn't hurt me, but like, yeah, you flinched. Like, oh no, I didn't. No, you gotta go. Run him.
Get him out of here.
But hopefully, we don't have any of those moments.
Yeah,
But I
hopefully
have
not.
a very good feeling that some people are extremely high on like what you saw this weekend. Like that'll be the catalyst that would LSU takes and goes, okay, got a scare, go win the whole thing. Like go take your super regional, take the first two, and get out. And like West Virginia is, because you've seen the way that the regional shook out, where a lot of teams got eliminated. A lot of SEC chatter about that they shouldn't have had this many teams in.
I mean, there's
What
like
you
4 of 13 left.
But it wasn't Clemson, it wasn't Kentucky, it was West Virginia that comes out the regional. And the way that they play, man, that's gonna. I would not be surprised to see you go 3. But that's what you
It's going
expect.
to be a dogfight.
Yeah, it's going to be moments. They're all around you.
They are. That's for sure. Speaking of moments, we'll get into this debate. I'm interested to get your thought process on it because I feel like me and you might view it differently. If you could take back any one loss in your team's history, which one would you pick? Obviously, for LSU, if you look at it, it's the national championship game. And then the one that's been pushed out by Louisiana fans in it, you know, kind of contrast to that one, would be the NOLA no call in 2018. I see both sides of the argument. I'm going to let you choose yours. Obviously, like, what I would like to do is take our emotions out of it, because if it's just an emotionally fueled argument, it's the national championship game. If you're looking at it from a bird's eye view, no emotional attachment, you feel the same about the LSU and the Saints. Which one is the one loss you would like back more?
See, because we were talking about it in the group chat, and Christian obviously was a bigger Saints fan, right?
Yes.
We tend to lean LSU.
Bingo.
And I think that's where your answer lies. Because if it really is you could take back one game, one moment, there's no moment you could take back against Alabama. You got throttled. Like
Right.
It's not like you could go pick a thing that's why you lost. It's you got outplayed. And if there was a moment or a game that you would take back, it would be Oklahoma State and what? It was Iowa and Iowa State, Oklahoma State. Is that what it was?
Iowa State, Oklahoma State.
That's the game. That's the game that you
take
take back, so you could play Oklahoma State and then not have to worry about it.
That's true.
But that would be the one that I would point to. But for this argument, because it would, of course, I'd like the LSU game to have never transpired that way. But if it's like a literal moment, I mean, you got absolutely robbed. If you're the New Orleans Saints,
Yes.
it was a play that decided the game that was completely unfair, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it was your ride to go to the Super Bowl for the second time with Drew Brees, Sean Payton, and you set up for a matchup with Bill Belichick and the Patriots, like Brees versus Brady, all of these things that would have made, like, instead of Sean McVay getting in as the wonder kid, and Bill Belichick takes him to school because he realizes, hey, Jared Goff is getting tutored during the game, like
Right.
before the play, so we're just not going to line up.
13-3.
Right, and he exposed him, which was a cool moment in like coaching history. But the better game would have been Brees and Brady.
Oh my
and
gosh.
you totally look at the Saints differently if you have that tandem win 2 Super Bowls or even go to 2,
Yeah.
much less win 2. But yeah, you can absolutely look at the Saints game, and there's like a thing that happened that shouldn't have happened, and it's had nothing to do with how like you played the game. It was a bad call that was missed. And like that's where you look back at it's astonishing. And you would change that if you could, because it directly impacts the result of the game. Alabama, there's nothing in that game that you look back on and go, well, this is where it happened.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a throttling from start to finish. I mean, you didn't cross the 50.
Yeah, so that's what, like, of course but
I agree with you on the front of, like, it comes down to emotion, your attachment. Obviously, for me, like, I sat there and cried as a 11-year-old watching, or however old I was, 9, watching LSU lose to Alabama in 2012. Like, it broke me. Like, that was my first sentient season of LSU fandom, was watching what I thought was the greatest team I had ever witnessed in my entire life. And they just got throttled, 21-0, dominated by Alabama.
And that is a good part of the conversation that you can have, because LSU was talked about before that game going into it. Like, you have the game of the century, you win that, you go to Alabama and win, and it's one of the best games you've ever seen. If you didn't like it,
it was the game of the century.
And it would lived up to everything. There's moments that you're just like the Eric Reed interception on a trick play, and you're just like, oh my God, maybe that's it.
God, that
field goal
touchdown they got called back.
Yeah, well, he stepped out.
I know,
but and then you have Alabama missing long field goals. LSU's defense playing out of their mind like they did all year. The way that season started with the Oregon game and Tyrann Mathieu and all of these things, where it's like, this is the greatest team of all time. Like, this is the greatest season of all time, and it was not up for really debate. And it became, if LSU finishes that, you beat Alabama twice, one to win a national championship in New Orleans. Yeah, you look at it a little differently.
Yeah,
and then everything goes out the window
Yes.
when you lose 21-0, and you start looking at your season after that, where it sends you in, like, who just said it in the chat, it sends you into a tailspin.
Yes.
Like,
You just beat
Wolfgang
Alabama
Freund,
again.
that Bama, because it's easy. Bama Natty games at LSU in a 10-year tailspin.
Yeah.
Sure, but what do you do with Les Miles if he wins that game?
I mean,
2 national championships?
beat Nick Saban in the big one.
Right, he owns him.
Like, there's the butterfly effect of what could have happened after that game.
You don't get 2019.
No.
There's no way.
But and then the flip side of the argument, like the other side of the argument is, like you said, NOLA no call in 2018. You get a chance to go to the Super Bowl, play for another one, potentially win another one. You look at the the Peyton Breeze era completely differently, in a more positive light, because they won 2, and it makes what you're going through right now as a Saints fan, or what you've gone through since Breeze retired in 21, 22, 23, 24, because you won a couple years ago. So,
Well, yeah, because there's a real conversation to be had about the Saints kind of wasted that opportunity. You see where they are now.
it puts you in such a terrible position for the future, because you were going all in to win in 17, 18, 19, and 20. Like, the teams you had then for the Saints were stacked, like the rosters you had. And so you were going all in on what can you do to get Breeze that next one. And it never happened. And what it did was set you up for complete and utter failure after Breeze was gone, because you never drafted another quarterback. You didn't sign young players. Your team is old. All of these things. It puts you in a tough position. But from my emotional standpoint, January 9th, 2012 will forever be like my true enshrinement to what LSU fandom is. I was a 9-year-old that watched that game and cried on the couch for an hour after it. And I was glued to my TV for every single LSU, or in Tiger Stadium for every LSU from that point forward, and have felt the ebbs and flows as I've grown up. It really is a tough question if you're trying to look at it unbiased, take emotion out of it, because you just got throttled if you're LSU in 2012. And for the NOLA no call, I mean, it's one play that stole everything from you.
Right, and that's not a play that, I wish he should have done this, or you can't blame anybody.
Blatant
but the official
miscall.
And it's just like, it feels like this vapid feeling of like, this isn't fair, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's just because when teams lose, like, you go back and look to, like we talked about LSU, Little Rock, Arkansas, we compared it to the Heat versus the Mavericks. And it's like, LeBron, post up JJ Barea.
Yeah,
like,
dunk on him. He's 5'9".
Like, so you could go and like, it really does feel like it's LeBron. Like, that's LeBron's legacy game that people can point to in the argument of LeBron Jordan.
Yes.
Like, and you can blame him because he knows it. He's like, I shit the bed. For LSU, it was from like tip to tail whistle from the first one. Like, you battled, played good defense, but you didn't. You're not. And
didn't cross the 50.
The only thing that you could maybe, like, if you want to blame, it's obviously the offensive play calling and all the storylines around it, where LSU changed a bunch of things and like, we're going to roll out a whole new offense, and then they just didn't do it. They reverted back to what got them there, and it was, I think that's a bonehead decision to, like, you trying to say, like, they know what we do and what we do well, and you're going against one of the greatest coaches of all time. You think he's going to prepare a little bit differently? And then you can look at, people will say, Why did you ever give Jarrett Lee a shot? You did. He immediately throws an interception. Like, they just weren't.
No.
It wasn't going to happen.
It was not.
But
it was not in the stars.
But vintage LSU football, and I'm reading some of the tweets underneath this. So Preston Guy put it, more painful loss in Louisiana sports.
Yeah.
At 55%, it's 2012 BCS Natty to Bama. That's like, if you want to say more painful, yeah. But if you want to say like which one could like you take back, I think it would be the Nola no call, because you could point to a seminal moment. But more painful, that 2012 national championship is probably more painful.
Yeah, I mean it's comparable to 2019 if LSU gets throttled in that Clemson national championship game. Where like, because that was the greatest team LSU had ever assembled in 2011. Like, and it was like you could talk about it as one of the greatest teams of all time if they win the whole thing.
And that's
what
what
that
sucks.
defense looked like. But now you can't because
you don't even talk about.
They got throttled.
Like they don't get mentioned. It's not a debate of like, oh,
it's
the
not
best.
2001 Miami, 2019 LSU,
And it was going all the way up to the
2011
national
LSU,
championship,
all the way till January
It was
9th.
like, this is the best defense ever assembled. Like, go down the
Sports
list.
Science, rest in peace, John Brinkus, did a freaking special on just the LSU DBs.
Yes. So
DB 504 in the chat. I was there for both. January 9th was just a butt kicking. The NFC Championship game felt like someone stole my house. Hunter Hall, 9-year-old Noah was sobbing, and 25-year-old Hunter Hall was litty AF.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
Get out of my face.
That's awesome. We didn't know each other yet.
We didn't.
Lloyd was.
I'm glad we didn't know each other yet.
Lloyd, yeah, you'd have beat up a 9-year-old might have beat you up, Hunter Hall.
I'd have killed you, Hunter.
I was in New Orleans, and I thought, like, we were outside Lucy's. They were projecting it on, like, the building across the street. Like, it's a massive watch party. Elite day. Going into and then after the first half, I went inside. I was like, I'm going to the hotel. I'm watching this by myself.
Because like,
and it never got better.
And similar to the argument you made, I would also contend that like the Nola no call was more painful because of just like I mean, like 1-9-12 was like you were just getting like you got jumped, like you were getting beat up, and they were just continually hitting you and hitting you and hitting. Nola no call is like you just got shot, like just straight up, like just that's what happened. Because like it's like, oh, we're like duking it out. I'm winning the fight. Oh, like I'm in this, and then you pull a strap out, and I'm done.
Like, because that's the other side of it. Is like the disappointment of the highs you were getting to while watching that Saints game. Again, like you can feel it. Like they're gonna go to the Super Bowl. Like, there's nothing that can really be done. Like they're in scoring position. You're going to be able to, like, if he makes that call, it's either a field goal or you run the clock out and score. Yep. One of the two things is happening.
You run the clock out, you kick a field, or you get in the end zone, you win the football game.
Right. Instead, you don't get any of that, and it's like, well, what the fuck just happened? Like, are we not? And then they review it. Like, the replay, they're not reviewing anything. You're just like.
You're just watching it.
They missed it. There's no penalty flag. And you were, like, that elation, too. Oh, and it shook the entire game up. Like, after that, everybody was kind of jarred because you do look back at some of the moments, and you still had chances to win. Yeah. They win the coin toss for overtime. Drew Brees throws an interception, gets tipped, picked, and then Greg Zuerlein is back from the dead and makes a 55-yarder. You're like, I thought he was bad. But Greg the Leg stole it from you. And then it's that where you had the ball. Like, okay, finally, like you win the toss in overtime. If you score first, it's over. Like, okay, all is right? Like, it feels like you're getting some sort of, like, karma's going to make this thing go the right way.
Right.
And then you're like, tip ball, intercept you. Oh. And then you see the kicker trot out and your kick goes in. Off the field, you're like, it's over.
It's over.
Okay. And then people are jumping off the second floor of the Superdome down the escalator. Like, my brother was there. He's in the building. He's like, people did not care about themselves. No. They were angry. They were sad. They were shocked, mystified.
Broken.
And somebody, like, just jumped down the escalator instead of walking down it. He just left himself. And he's like, oh, don't blame you. Like, my brother went with one of his best friends. Sean paid for the 2 tickets. He's like, I'll get you, whatever. I'll pay you back.
Let's do it.
Right after, he goes, I'm not paying for this.
Yeah, no.
He's like, you just have to eat that. I think that's how it works. He's like, no, I'm not paying for that experience. But it was just a shocking, like, it's just sheer shock. Because
truly.
It's never happened.
No, I mean, it was absolute pain.
And then the other side of it is you sat in misery for 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, man.
You couldn't get knocked out. You just had to get your ass kicked for 2.5 hours. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it was. And then, I mean, and another one that could be in the argument is the Saints in 2017. Like, it doesn't hold the same weight because you wasn't a triple in the Super Bowl on the line. You would have still had to go and beat the Eagles, who ended up winning the Super Bowl. But I remember the Minneapolis Miracle sitting there watching it and being like, just frozen in front of the television.
That's another one where you got all the momentum in the world. Drew Brees and the Saints offense comes alive in the second half, and they go nuclear. Because you were losing it for the majority of that game. Then they turned it on, figured it out.
You take the lead, feel like it's over.
All you have to do is get a stop, can't give up a touchdown, doesn't feel like you're going to give up a touchdown.
Tackle him in bounds.
And you have a play that shouldn't have happened.
Diggs, sideline.
And then it's over. One of those again where it's a walk-off.
And you're just sitting there like, I remember sitting at that TV and I was like,
uh-huh. And that's what Saints is. Like,
yes.
That's why it feels so good when the Saints are good and they win and they go on runs. Like 2006 was incredible. Like even to lose, like you should have came back in that Bears game.
Yes.
Reggie Bush with the touchdown, points at Brian Urlacher, flips into the end zone. You're like, this is what we're going to do for the next 15 years. And you lose and it's like, oh, that's okay. They're coming back in 2007.
Right.
Heartbreak again. Not that good. 2009 shows up. You're like, okay. Going around, win the whole thing, undefeated for a majority of the year. And then they were doing that. They were 13-3. A ton. And then you never got back, and it just felt like you always were going to come back and get a Super Bowl because you were too consistently good.
Yeah.
And it just never happened again. And so you're left looking at, like, what is the legacy of Drew Brees and Sean Payton? It's great offenses and teams that were – the Saints were as consistent as you can be in the NFL. And to only have one is brutal.
Brutal.
Because you could have been one of their, like, dynasty.
I mean, Drew Brees is probably looked at differently if he has another one.
He's probably still in the
like to me like the
doing
fact
what
that,
Tom Brady's doing.
Yes,
he's like in the booth Sunday night, whatever you want to do.
When the conversation comes up of, I mean, obviously Brady is the greatest of all time, and it's kind of set in stone. But like a lot of times, Brees doesn't even get brought up in the conversation of like top 5.
No, he's a stats whore,
and it's like no, he really wasn't. Like he was that good. If you sit and watch the film, like he was probably the most accurate quarterback ever.
Drew Brees kept you in every game.
Every single game.
Even when he was dead, old, couldn't throw it downfield, would try to look for it and be like, oh, he's checking it down. Yep. But there was times when he used to give those tippy toes, look downfield, and you're like, who's out there? Bomb. Ted Ginn, Devery Henderson. It was so much fun. And then it just was like, Colson. You don't have much to prove for it. Just the fact that you were consistently good in the NFL.
Yep. And you won one. You got one. And it was awesome. I mean, 2009 was awesome.
Yeah, but that's Louisiana.
Yeah.
Get your heart ripped out all the time.
And
you keep coming back.
We got 40 votes in the chat. 56% say the LSU Natty in 2012. 44% say the NOLA no call. So it's still split pretty even, and rightfully so. They both are pain that we have endured and will forever be etched in our hearts and minds as Louisiana football fans. And both happened in the Superdome. Just, I mean, both absolutely brutal. And I think the argument generally comes down to the emotional investment you have in either team. Like Preston Guy in his, let me see if I can find the tweet he put out that just kind of explained all of the different things that played a part in the pain that came from that game. Let's see. Where is it at? Because he really broke it down, like all the different layers of what happened in that game. Just all of the things that went wrong after, during, before, like everything going into it beforehand. It was just a brutal, brutal LSU football loss. But the NOLA no call, man, it really feels like
and you just hear. You could also put in the Saints, what was it, 2011? 49ers?
Brutal. I mean, was it Vernon Davis?
That would have been, Vernon Davis, Alex Smith. They scored 16 points in the fourth quarter. But it would have been, like you put both of those together, the Saints win a Super Bowl in 2011-2012. LSU wins a national championship 2011-2012. Like the state can't handle it.
No, I mean, Louisiana would have burnt to the ground.
Instead, we're just like, we'll take the heartbreak and we'll bounce back. But I don't know if we're set up to have success like that.
No, but I do think that as much as 2012 and that national championship loss hurt in the pain. Like, if I were to pick one to have back and take my emotion out of it, I would probably go with the Nola no call because of just the sheer, like, the beatdown of LSU was just like, I mean, you never had a chance. Like, it was over.
And you were
Nola no call, like, you had it. Like, you were there. You were at the mountaintop, and then you got pushed off.
Yeah.
But emotionally, obviously, if I could have back. But I also don't know if I love LSU the same way. Like, if my relationship with LSU is the same now if it weren't for that game in 2012.
It conditioned everyone in a certain type of way to just deal with it. And then it became a point of content where you were like, I guess this is how LSU plays. This is their offense now.
Yep.
And then you have
and it was what made 2019 like this eye-opening enlightenment experience of 3rd and 17. We just scored a touchdown.
Right.
We threw a dig route and threw a touchdown.
And you've got Joe Burrow to Justin Jefferson to cross middle on 3rd and 17. I was watching it with the historian of LSU football, Charles Handegriff, who has watched more games than probably exist, and he was
handed off, get tackled, punt it.
Exactly, and Dick Dixon was right there who played for LSU. Going, that's exactly what you do. He's like,
that's what you do
they got in shotgun. Like, what are they doing? And he dropped back there. He's like, oh, they're gonna have to. You're gonna stop the clock. And then you see him score.
Stiff arm.
And I thought he was going to have a heart attack because he was just. It was enlightenment. He had got baptized. He's like, all of the bad things that I've had to sit through change right now.
Right now.
And the same thing for the Alabama game.
Yeah.
Where it's. You can't beat this team. You haven't beat and then it's
you're in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, it's like, let's see how good this team is. And Joe Burrow even says, like, I had no clue.
Jamar Chase baptized Trayvon Diggs, and I was like, I'm sitting there watching. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's for that's for the Minnesota Miracle.
Yeah, Peon Gaming. The no call literally took my face.
Yeah.
No, I mean like it. Irreparable damage. They both were extremely painful. But it was a great discussion that popped up on Twitter yesterday. Shout out to the page that put the original tweet out. There isn't. Shout out to Savannah Tuog. I don't know how to say the last name, but shout out to her for putting that post out because it was a great discussion.
Yeah, I don't think she knew what she stumbled into.
No, I don't think she understands. Like, because there's a like if I was gonna look at it like in totality as a sports fan. Like games that I would like, I could rattle off a litany of games that I would have back as a sports fan. Like 2015 Alabama's up there. Like we were talking about Lenny yesterday. Mm-hmm. To have back that 2015 LSU, it's the first college football playoff rankings come out. LSU comes out as number 2, going to Tuscaloosa. Lenny's number 1 in the Heisman voting. Lenny, dominates and you win that game. It's booked. It's signed, sealed, delivered. Leonard Fournette's the Heisman winner. LSU's moving forward. They don't fall apart against the next 2 teams as well. Like, I could rip off a list of games in multiple different sports that I would love to have back. The DeMarcus Cousins Achilles injury in 2018 for the Pelicans. Take that back in a heartbeat. Like, it's just there are countless games as a sports fan. So
funny to go down this, like, just her tweet.
Yeah,
see the responses because everybody
throw some other ones at me.
Has like this feeling like Oklahoma fan, Georgia Oklahoma in the overtime.
Yeah,
like, Baker Mayfield, this is your guy. That's their Joe Burrow.
That's the greatest of all time.
Transfers in, wins the job, like plays with everything that you're like, oh my god, I love the guy, and then you lose. Or Georgia rips your heart out 54-48, and it's over, and you're like, you feel like we were good enough to win a national championship. 2006 Mets NLCS Game 7. I was a massive Mets fan then because of Jose Reyes. And they have somebody robs a home run, and the Cardinals come storming back, and it was that. Like I remember watching that. That's when you just didn't have Twitter and you just watched every game.
Yeah.
Then State had to forfeit the College World Series in 2021. I don't remember that. But and there's Oklahoma, Florida. Obviously Oklahoma.
Oh, was that NC State?
Yeah,
College World Series. I remember when that happened. That was Tommy Tanks. I thought that was no, that was before Tommy Tanks.
Yeah,
yeah, no, I remember that.
Clemson Addict, 2019 national title game. If we win that game, we were back-to-back champs on a 30-game win streak and defeated the 2 best SEC teams to ever do it.
God, that is true.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Our bad.
Wow, 2007 Backyard Brawl, also massive. Like that's why LSU got a national championship.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, no, I mean, that you could really go
Pat
down.
McAfee.
You could really go down the I mean, the beef says the Yeldon game. I mean, that one was...
That
one was tough.
tough.
Heartbreaking.
That's the one that if I could take back one, that's what I would.
Really?
Because that changes the game.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Like that changes your season. There's a moment you can point to where you go, make a fucking tackle, and like that would be that moment because it shouldn't have happened.
I mean, you can even look at the
You
Texas
have
A&M game last
Jarvis
year.
Landry in the corner of the end zone catches it,
Stop.
and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
they scored. They finally broke through and scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
and
It was awesome.
this defense is too good.
Like, you felt so comfortable because of the defense you had.
It's the
Like, we finally got a ounce of offensive support.
there's not enough time left for them to do anything.
No, and
That's the last time I've ever truly let myself believe in a win before it happened. I changed that day, night.
No, rightfully so. Man.
And now that's why I watch differently. It really
Yeah,
is.
you
It
do.
took my joy.
No, I'm sitting there.
Can't celebrate anything.
LSU Ole Miss last season. Kyron Lacey in the end zone catches it, and I'm just waiting for the flag.
Something to happen.
Waiting for them to throw the PI and ruin the whole thing.
Instead, but
They don't, and then I find like 5 minutes after everybody else has been celebrating,
You get to exhale.
I finally, let's go! I finally fired up.
That's that feeling though is something that I don't know if I would like. I think I like that better.
Only few fans truly feel that feeling, where it's like, and it's a sick disease.
It is
that we have.
I'm sorry,
but yeah, no, I mean, but it's okay.
but it's worth it instead
It
of
is.
being, I guess, watching the other way, and it's all, then you just set yourself up for disappointment. But if you can truly bear it and then wait, and then you're like, it's over.
Yeah.
And then that's like, yes. And then you get to celebrate 5 minutes later a little bit harder.
Yeah,
It's
amen.
like, whoa, where have you been? I thought like you get to bring back the celebration and people get fired up all over again because now you're fired up and it's like an encore.
Yeah.
God.
Every single day, we are brought to you by AJ Sports Cards, located at 3348 Drusilla Lane, open from 9:30 to 6. The number is 225-831-4508. AJ Sports Cards 225 on Facebook. And we are about to do a pack opening live here, as it is AJ Sports Cards' 2-year anniversary. So we will take a quick break, be right back, and we'll rip some packs here on this, what is it, Thursday morning. So we're rolling through the week here on Tingle & Co. We'll be right back after this.
He is a time playmaker.
Garrett Nussmeier. Garrett Nussmeier has been anything and everything that LSU has needed.
He is a big-time playmaker.
Garrett Nussmeier to the end zone! Touchdown!
I mean, it means everything. This is a game I've been playing since I was a kid on the Xbox 360. Just to even be selected to be on a cover of this game, it's truly a blessing. I thank God that I have this opportunity and this platform.
Nussmeier, big hole up the middle. He'll walk in. in the end zone.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was kind of funny. There are coaches that we played against, and players that I played against, and went directly against. And so it's awesome to be able to be around this special talent. Those other guys that were there, and I mean even the coaches. So truly an awesome experience.
Garrett Nussmeier.
Everywhere I go, they are fired up about the Tigers this year.
And I am too. I mean, I'm bullish on this team as well. And look, every coach that's here believes they've got the best team they've ever had. So you leave these meetings, Paul, and you think, is there a chance I can win a game? But we know our roster. This is the best roster that we've put together. It's part of a process that has taken a little more time than we wanted, but we're doing it the right way, and we're pretty excited about what our football team looks like.
And I mean, it starts with Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah.
I alluded to him off the air to you about his season. I mean, there were some really great moments. There were some awkward moments, as there always are. I'm in a different state, in a different time zone. What has changed with him, or is it just the maturation and the people and the pieces around him?
I think you're right. I think it's the maturation. I think weapons around him obviously make a big difference. And I think in this league, as you know, being a first-time starter is so difficult. So difficult. And his ability to overcome some of the setbacks that he had, win our last 3 games where he really played at a high level, that's going to continue. He had a great spring. He got a chance to really blend with the new receivers that we have and the weapons that we've added. I just think he's going to have a great year going into year 2.
I know you're interested in how he plays this year and obviously his future, but in talking to some NFL people, I know you talk to a lot more than I do. I mean, they love him.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think we all know about his background, right? He's a coach's son. He's somebody that's been around the game. So I think when you look at quarterbacks, you want to see that kind of football IQ. He's a learner of the game. He always is looking to be curious about something new. Then he's got arm talent and anticipation. He can make those tight window throws that the NFL coaches really, really like, and GMs. I just think that, he's the complete package when it comes to that.
Bases are loaded. Alex Box can feel it. 2 outs. And who else in the country would you want stepping up to the plate right now? In that moment, 2 outs, bases loaded. Need it more than you can breathe.
Open it up. Open it up. Crisscross jump. With a bell in the trunk. Shells in the ball. Shells in the ball.
Bases are loaded. All right, welcome back here as we're closing out hour number 2 here on this Thursday morning on Tingle & Co. And we have a very special segment this morning as our recent partner we've been telling you about all week, AJ Sports Cards here in Baton Rouge, have hit their 2-year anniversary of being open. And Nikki has joined us this morning with some really cool stuff to do a really cool segment that we're super excited about and all the fun stuff we have coming up soon. Good morning. Thank you for coming in. Good to see you. Yes, we're excited. Tell us a little bit, first off, just about the company, getting it started, kind of where your love began and your desire to pursue this, and kind of the road that it's been the last 2 years to where you are now.
Yeah, so my husband and I started getting into cards about 5 years ago. It actually started, we were going to the garage sales on Saturday morning. A lady was selling her collection. She was just like, my husband's passed away. I have all these cards. I don't know what to do with them.
Don't know what he's been up to with these.
So, yeah, she starts digging them. I mean, like stacks of 5-row boxes, which hold like 5,000 cards each. Stacks. So my husband was like, I'm thinking about getting them. I was like, okay, let's load them up.
Right.
So we get them home. We start digging in them, and that just propels us all the way into the hobby. And we just, we jumped in both feet. He started breaking. We were working day and night, and then he finally transitioned into breaking full time. And breaking is probably a whole nother segment. But yeah, he has 225 breakers. He breaks. Sometimes they're doing day and night breaks right now.
Wow.
But yeah, that's how that started. And then 2 years into that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to open a card shop.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, right? So I felt like I had a little knowledge at that time. Little did I know, I didn't know anything compared to what I needed to know.
Right.
But it's been a learning experience, and it's been great. And I run the shop, he runs the breaks, and we just do it. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I love whenever you find a passion and then it grows and then it turns into something beautiful like this. That's exciting. We're really excited. You've got two really special things sitting in front of you here. If you want to kind of explain to the listeners these two boxes that you've brought in with you, and kind of what we're hoping and expecting to come out of them.
Okay, so first, in honor of our 2-year celebration, I'm going to open a 2024 Panini Immaculate NFL box.
Delicious.
This is one of the top products in football cards, you might say. So here you'll have 8 cards. What we're looking for in here hopefully will be a 101 of, say, like Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams. Or wait, I don't know if that's his this year, but we'll open it up and see, because I did not open any of this. I have customers who did, but I was not privileged enough. But I said, I'm going to treat myself today.
Oh, yeah.
It's the anniversary.
Celebrate.
Yeah, you got to do something special.
Exactly. So this is going to be 2024 Flawless Baseball. It's a Panini product. But here, this is your top of the line in Panini products. Flawless is, these cases in different sports can run up to $13,000 for this box.
So you're expecting something pretty big out of that to, for the payout, to make it worthwhile.
We're looking for the big boys here.
Nice.
This is the stuff that they keep in the cases under lock and key.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
so,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Do you need like gloves or anything? Like,
some people actually do break with gloves.
I've seen it.
Yeah, they do. I don't, because if I decide to send any of this stuff for grading, I'll clean it up anyway. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes me nervous. If there's actually, like, I'm looking on eBay right now, and 2023, 2024 Panini Flawless Probe on eBay is worth $16,000. So, like, what are we gonna do if something actually happens? Like,
that's awesome.
To lock the doors.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So real excited about that.
Yeah.
So y'all,
well, let's do it. Let's get to breaking.
Yeah, let's see something happen.
Let's make it happen.
Now I'm nervous.
My hands are getting sweaty.
I was thinking about letting you guys open, but your history with eating cards is not. No, we're not doing
today.
That today.
Not today.
She says, like, don't eat any of these.
No.
It's like, oh, it'd just be an expensive meal.
No. Y'all want baseball or football first?
Let's do the football. We'll do the Big Daddy after.
All right, let's do it.
What was that?
Okay, so we have to cut it open here.
Yep.
All right.
This is
Y'all
awesome.
wish me
So
some luck.
Eight cards?
There's 8 cards in this box. So if you want to look up the values, it's 2024 Immaculate NFL.
There you go. Get those things up.
Yeah, let's see what it is. All right, so it comes in a pack, right? In some boxes, you will get like cards that have silver bars or gold bars.
Wow.
Mine did not. It just had a ton of spaces.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's see.
So would that be like a hint?
Not necessarily.
Just an additional little gift.
It just takes up more space in the box so the cards
Right.
aren't moving around.
Okay.
All right, fellas.
Let's do it.
This
Here
is
we
exciting.
go. And I never get to open these boxes, so I'm pretty
This is
excited.
awesome.
So your husband opens them or what?
He opens them for breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Where you can go and buy your team or your player,
Nice.
and they just kind of split the cost.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
So first up, we have Kenneth Walker, numbered to 10.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
this
only
is good.
10 of those.
Only 10.
Wow.
This is actually really good. Okay. All right. Michael Penix. This is a memorabilia card numbered to 25.
Wow.
That
Oh, so they had a
patch
little piece of
is
the.
crazy. You see that patch?
Oh, that's awesome.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. This is.
So
a
what
Oh,
is
they
that?
can
Is that
zoom
like a
in on
patch
it.
of like?
his clothing.
Nice.
Uniform?
Wow.
It could be like.
Hold it up to this camera real quick. Yeah.
Sick. That's fire.
Yeah. All right. Next up, T.J. Watt on card auto to 25.
Wow.
So if you're a Steelers fan, you're going bananas over this
Look
card.
at that.
Yeah.
Because he might not be a Steeler anymore.
Well,
that would
he's
be.
Steeler on this card.
Yeah. Hey, he's got the. I mean, he's still got the autograph number 25. That is
Yeah.
clean.
All right. Let's.
And they're good looking cards. Like
These
that.
are top of the line.
That is.
Romeo Dobbs on card auto to 75.
There you go. God, it's clean.
Yeah.
Looks good.
All right. So next we got a little vet coming up. Darren Woodson to 35.
Oh.
On card and memorabilia patch.
Wow. So it's an auto and memorabilia.
Yes.
Fire.
Yes.
That looks good.
I'm trying to do
There we
both
go.
of these things right
Yeah, I
now.
know. We got
You call it out.
Adam Vinatieri,
Let's go.
auto number to 25.
That's good.
That is fire.
People who collect vets, they're going nuts over that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Vinatieri, legend. Legend.
Okay, so we got two good ones coming up. You
Two
call
good ones
it
coming
out.
up. All right, let's do it. We've got Romo Dunze rookie card, number to 49, auto, landscape. Look at that bad boy.
I love the designs on these. They are just so clean.
No, that's awesome. Rookie cards are the big deal, huh? So when they pop off, they raise.
Skyrocket in value, I would imagine.
Another rookie card, auto, and a patch. Adonai Mitchell, A.D. Mitchell for the Colts from Lloyd University.
Oh, I don't know. Should I?
I think it was Texas, and he transferred from Georgia. Won a natty at Georgia, then went to Texas last season. But yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
2 rookie cards to close it out.
Nice box.
Fire. This is.
I mean, this T.J. Watt card's going for $400 on it.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think you're going to get your value back.
For sure.
No, I mean that is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Shout out AJ Sports Cards once again, 3348 Drusilla Lane, 930 to 6. The number's 225-831-4508, and on Facebook it is AJ Sports Cards 225. Make sure you check them out as we're about to rip into this big old box.
Big box.
Panini 2024 Flawless Baseball.
How many are in here?
I know. I mean,
kinda nervous.
my hands are already sweaty. I was trying not to shake too
I
much when
saw
I was
that.
grabbing the cards from you.
So this should have probably about 8 cards. It kind of depends with baseball because they kind of switch it up sometimes. But they'll have at least 2 encased cards in here. One probably will have a diamond. Hopefully the
Wow,
other is
2
encased.
encased
Come on, let's get
with a
one of
diamond.
them.
I mean, that big of a box for 8 cards makes you feel
That's
like
the stuff of it to be 100 in there.
something big's about to happen. But yeah, I mean,
Y'all ready?
let's
Break
do
this
it.
thing.
Let's go. All right. So yeah, these come to a case. And
Oh, this is like a
this is a briefcase.
metal briefcase.
Yeah.
God.
This is a big deal right here.
Show that to the camera real quick. Let them see that. I mean, that is official.
And it locks. So
Wow.
it's a whole thing. So my husband usually runs through a lot of these on his break
course.
on his groups. And I usually give the kids these
Yeah.
briefcases, and they love them.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
That
I
is
mean,
awesome.
They can put their cards in there. They can lock it from their little sisters.
Of course.
And it is just a whole thing for them.
See, I used to go to Target and hide in the clothes rack, like the circle ones. We would just steal packs and break them in there, but we didn't have a briefcase. So I didn't think I was doing anything bad. I was just like, oh, cool, Chipper Jones. And then Mom was like, where'd you find that? Yeah, what's in your pocket?
Oops.
So that's when I started eating them.
Oh my god.
Found your liking for a new delicacy.
Well, sir, we're gonna have to watch you when you come to the shop.
Yeah.
Don't eat the cards.
It's a lunch stop.
All right.
All right, let's do it.
This is, I don't want to really show you because I might give away the cards, but this is kind of what it looks like. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is official.
It's legit, man. I'm telling you. The one on the left is.
You already know?
I sneaked. I looked at it.
Sneaked a little peek at it.
Looked at it.
Hard not to.
I know. When I help my husband, I open the packs sometimes. And sometimes I do cheat and look. I have to look.
I mean, I can only imagine it's probably hard not to.
All right, so fellas, I know LSU baseball guys. But you guys are gonna have to help me with the rest of them. Right.
We
All right.
will do.
First up, we have Michael Young patch out of 15.
Wow. Clean.
Yeah.
God, the patches are awesome.
They
like
are
that is
beautiful.
That is awesome.
Right. All right. So we have Bob Lemon, and this is 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
3
Wow.
out of 10. Yeah.
Look at that.
For Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So you call this one out.
Let's go. We've got a Future Inc. Max Muncy for the Oakland A's, number to 20.
Oh, if I would have had that one yesterday, I would have had to eat it.
Oh.
He did. The A's were his pick yesterday.
Yeah, this is
God,
low
that's
numbered.
awesome.
You definitely don't want to eat this card.
No, right. Well, there's only 20 of those in the world.
No. All right, next. Jacob Gonzalez to 25.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fire.
Mhm.
God, that's awesome.
These are
That's awesome. Yes, CVL in the chat. Bob Lemon is legit.
All right, Nolan Sanchez. You're probably an older fella.
Nolan's Chanel.
There you go.
Shanuel.
There you go.
Got a patch in there. Los Angeles Angels, number to 20. God, that's awesome.
All right.
I can't get enough of the patches.
Good. Next one's good. Matt Shaw to 10.
Look
at that patch.
Number to 10. Look at that thing.
That is bananas.
God, that's awesome.
So are you going to put these Cub? Matt Shaw.
Cubbies.
So are you going to put these, he made his debut this year, like are you going to put these on display to sell them back? Like, is that kind of like the breaking deal?
Mm-hmm.
Where you like you put them out, or is there one that you're like, if you get like Shohei Ohtani, one of one, you like, I'm just going to keep this?
Personal collection?
Yeah, so it works a little different with breaks. You've already sold those spots, and those belong to the customers no matter what. If it's a 1 penny card or a $10,000
okay, so
card.
they're investing in, they don't know what they're buying yet, but if they do hit, yep.
We've had people like fly to us to get their cards because they were so big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Bryce Eldridge to 10. Let's go.
To 10. Oh, it's got the USA. It's USA baseball. The 18U national team. Got the USA uni on. Got the USA logo in gold. That is beautiful.
16th pick.
Number
in the 2023 Major League Baseball draft.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
So the last card in the box is going to be Jacob Wilson. The patch is crazy. Out of 20.
Is that another Oakland A, it looks like?
Oh, God.
God, that's awesome.
So if you had the Oakland A's in this break, you would have cleaned up.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Cleaned
fellas.
house.
All right. Oh, we have 2 here. Okay. First one, Eddie Collins to 25.
To 25.
With a diamond.
Legend.
Let's go.
With a
So
diamond.
what does a diamond mean?
It's just a diamond.
Oh. I thought it was just like a diamond. No, it's a real diamond in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Real? Yeah. This is to 25, Jake Arrieta.
Oh, Jake Arrieta.
Yeah.
Is that a diamond in the middle as well? Is it a USA baseball? Is that
3 diamonds in this
Wow,
one.
3 diamonds. Jake Arrieta. It's the USA number to 25.
Let me zoom in on this thing just so people can see.
Look at that.
Look at that, how beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Also a Cub.
Also a Cubby, yep.
Okay. All right, fellas.
Awesome.
Last card.
Let's see it.
Last card. Flawless.
Dylan Cruz.
Dylan
Cruz!
No way! That's why you break them on
That's what you do it, baby!
Out of 15.
Wow. Auto with a patch, Dylan Cruz out of 15.
There we go. Look at that.
I mean, DC,
Now,
the GOAT.
That's probably going in the PC right there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's the greatest
awesome.
of all
look
time.
At that patch. It is so sick. Oh my god.
God, it doesn't get any better than that, huh?
With the signature.
My heart my heart's like,
yeah.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Dylan Cruz, the greatest of all time. Come on.
Let's go.
Come on. We actually had somebody call it in the chat.
Oh, really?
Where's it at? He said, God, if I could find it. He said something about, he said Dylan Cruz in the box.
Dylan Cruz.
He said right here, Matthew Conkle, Dylan Cruz card, question mark, would be sick.
Yes.
And check it out. Shout out. God, that's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a personal collection all the way.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
all the way. All the way. That
You'll
is
have to wait 20 years. But
awesome.
He's not going to retire for a long time.
Yeah, no. I mean,
that'll up in value.
There we go.
That's awesome.
That was electric. That was electric. Yeah, thank you for coming in. That was exciting. We're excited to keep doing this. Brought some goodies for the fellas, some 2025 card packs. Here's some baseball, the Bowman. Mm-hmm. Brought some goodies for the boys. Lloyd, don't eat them yet.
Yeah, no, I'll save this.
You might have a tough time. But yeah, and then don't forget.
I ate a chrome one yesterday.
Stop it.
I know.
How are you alive right now?
I don't know, but it was like I could taste it on the way, like my drive home. I was like, oh, my mouth tastes awful.
Oh, no.
Chocolate is like you ate a baseball card.
You could have like a $100 card, too. You
yeah.
gotta send me a picture before you eat it.
Don't forget about, we've been talking about all week, the Death Valley Sports Collectible Show, AJ Sports Cards, and Primetime Sports, Saturday, June 28th, 9 to 4. You want to talk a little bit about this event? We're excited about it. We're going to make our way there. Good. Going to pull that mic up and let everybody know.
That's exciting.
What we're expecting with this event.
Yeah, so this is going to be, I'll have 85 tables at this show. We'll have vendors from all across the state there. They'll be selling anything from vintage cards to new modern cards. I have a fella who will be selling junk wax.
Okay.
So the sealed packs from those eras that still have the gum in them.
Wow.
If you guys chew that gum, I am not responsible. I'm not, okay?
Don't tip Lloyd.
That's edible. Like, you technically can eat gum. Now, you swallow it, I don't know, that's bad luck, but you can't chew it.
No, don't. We're not doing that. So, yeah.
They should put, like, dip in there. Like, dip.
Sick. No, come on. Kids buy these packs. What are you doing?
Yeah, but 18 and over.
You're a monster.
Start them young. Yeah. But, yeah, so we'll have all the vendors there. They'll have cards, memorabilia. We'll be doing live breaks there.
Awesome.
225 Breakers will be doing live breaks for our customers. You can jump in while you're there, and then once it fills, it'll go live and it'll break right there. We'll have LSU baseball guys signing the hottest guys on the team.
Ashton Larson, Daniel Dickinson, Jared Jones, Kate Anderson, Stephen Milam, William Schmidt.
Yes.
The names.
I mean, does it get any better than that?
Awesome.
Come on.
They might be.
I mean, this is after Omaha. This is after Omaha, buddy.
I was about to say, they might be.
We had to time it that way.
Yeah, it might be after they win a national championship.
Come on.
Yeah, it might be standing room only.
Come on. We want that. That's what
awesome.
We want.
Yes.
That's awesome. Great stuff. We appreciate you coming in this morning. We're excited about this partnership.
Yeah,
this is a great start. We're going to have some fun.
Of course, the one Alabama fan goes, this is rigged.
Get out of here, Hunter Hall.
No, sir.
But no, that's awesome. Go Tigers.
The guy that called it did say, Matthew Conkle goes, I'll give you $37 for it right now.
Oh.
So you can make a quick trade. I don't know. Might have to think about it.
$37, you'll have to do some dishes with that, sir.
There you go. Well, we appreciate you coming in. Don't forget, y'all, check out AJ Sports Cards at 3348 Drusilla Lane. And don't forget about this event on June 28th. We will be there. The Tigers will be there. It's going to be awesome at the Crown Plaza Executive Center on Constitution Ave. Once again, thank you for coming in. Thank you for doing this and treating us to a good time. We'll talk again soon. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, and we're going to close it out this morning. Appreciate all of y'all tuning in.
We got to do Athletic Connections.
Oh, yeah, we do. We do. You can join us for this as well.
Yes.
We do every single day. We close it out with a website called Athletic Connections. So you have to play the game. I don't know if you ever heard of Connections, but it's just all these things, and you have to make 4 groups of 4
that are all similar.
They're all things on the screen.
Okay.
And so these are all related to sports, so that's why we do it. The other ones are too hard.
Yeah,
we're not smart enough.
Real
it's the only
connections
thing we know about
are like world things, but sports we can figure it out.
Okay.
But Yes, once
that
again.
Dylan Cruz is already back in the box.
Yeah, no, I mean,
didn't get to breathe for very long.
No way, I can't let anyone say that.
That was I really couldn't. We couldn't have asked for anything better than a DC card.
I have to like travel with like a guard.
Well, I brought
they don't know where
my
we
other
are.
cards with me that I was going to show off, but we ran out of time. Next time I'll have to bring them.
Awesome, yeah.
That box is like handcuff worthy. Like,
it just paid off.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Charlie Oliver in the chat. Yeah, their shop is solid. Bought some stuff for my nephews there. Seville, my son's favorite spot. He has to go there at least once a month.
Aww.
So awesome.
I love
AJ
my
Sports
customers.
Card.
The customers are so sweet to me. The community is the best, actually. Yeah,
it's the best. So make sure you take their word for it. Take our word for it. Go to AJ Sports.
The proof is in the pudding.
The proof is in the pudding. You just witnessed it yourself. Make sure you pull up to AJ Sports Car on Drusilla Lane.
All right, let's see if we can connect.
Let's see what we can do. Let's connect athletically. All right. Okay.
I mean, I can do this.
And then there you go.
Do you think that's the 4?
I think so. Send it. Yep. And then
unfortunately, I have nothing to show for it.
Miller, George, O'Neal, Smits. I think those are all Pacers. Reggie Miller, Paul George, Jermaine O'Neal, Rick Smits.
Where's the other one? Which one?
Miller to the top left.
Oh, here he is.
And then, let's see. Benny, Boomer, Rumble, Bernie.
They're all mascots.
Or wait. Yeah. I believe.
Benny, Boomer,
Rumble, and Bernie are all mascots. This is all basketball related.
Yeah, because the finals start tonight.
I think so. Finals start tonight.
Who is it?
There we go.
It is the Pacers.
It's the Pacers and the
Thunder.
These are the conference finals teams at the bottom. Yeah. There we go. We appreciate you guys joining us this morning. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9. Once again, shout out to AJ Sports Card.
I can't believe a cruise came out.
That's awesome. That's as good as it gets. Thank you for coming in again.
Guys.
And we'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 7 to 9.